You're about to listen to the award-winning Stuart Pedasso Show. This show is for ideologically and emotionally mature audiences. If you should not be here, please go away. We'll still be here when you're mature enough to partake. Mwah!
That's what we count on. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Stuart Pedasso Show, the award-winning Stuart Pedasso Show.
Indeed.
Two-time award-winning Stuart Pedasso
And nominated.
Show. And three-time nominated award-winning Stuart Pedasso Show. Damn, we got awards just all up the ass. I'm Dave.
I'm Melissa.
I'm Eve. What award did you win?
The best local podcast twice by the Maui Time News.
Oh,
And then we've been nominated for a few
2 or 3
times,
times,
different,
yeah.
for in different ways.
The city newspaper.
Also, and
Best
then
of
there
the
was
year.
like a national one that we were being nominated. Yeah, remember we?
No, I don't. I'm sorry, I don't. I remember when we tried to win something. We campaigned
Yeah,
back in our crazy days.
when we used to campaign.
Yeah.
Now we're like, nah, we got gardens to run and shit like that.
I do have this thing. We should start our own award or something. Like take nominations and give out awards.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
Ooh, write that down. That's a good idea.
That's a lot of work. What would our awards be for? Who would we want to apply to be
Like,
in our
what would
awards?
be the
To
things?
nominated?
Oh yeah, we could make it. Oh, we could do things like
Anything you want.
like more like social justice kind of things, like people who do good things and bad things and give awards, and
Oh, that's true.
you know, and like people who did like this person did this awesome thing, and
Like our own awards, or should people be nominated, or how would?
I don't know. We should talk about it.
Okay.
We should have one of our famous meetings at the place.
And then brainstorm.
And brainstorm, yeah.
Okay.
Meetings at the place. Meaning
Usually-
the bar
yeah,
up
but
the
usually-
street.
usually-
Literally, that means the bar that's up the street between the two of our
Usually,
houses.
when that happens, it means I'm walking out with my idea for a porn bar again. Yeah, Dave, we know.
know, we
Cover the
know.
tables. We know. Stop.
I love
Help
that idea.
close your ass down.
I don't know. I like this idea. I kind of think.
Wait,
it
the
could
porn
be
bar
fun.
or the
No,
awards?
no. I mean, yeah, that's cool too. But no, I was thinking more the
All right, awards.
awards.
But
Like
that
the
means
kind of awards we would get, like the type of award, like it could be cool, like legit, like things that we think are really great that people have done in the world of the universe and Rochester and so forth. But it also could be super silly.
Okay.
You know, like they have, I think like one of the awards, like People's Choice Awards or one of those type of awards. There was one like the best kiss. Like it's like, who the fuck cares about a best? I don't know. That's such a weird thing for like a movie. So I'm just saying we could have something.
Well, that would have to
I
be-
think that's ridiculous and kind of stupid.
that would have to be in like something like in media, like a movie or TV show. You couldn't do that in real life. How you
no,
can prove that?
No, I know.
Right.
You
That's what I'm
can't.
saying.
I win.
Oh, okay.
Well,
The real life, or were you on camera doing this that I don't know about? Which is your business. That's fine. I'm not judging.
I'm not telling you what to do.
But you win what? The live action or the on media?
Live action.
Oh, okay. So that's what I'm saying. How do you judge that? Because it's just in a moment and then it's gone.
Yeah. I'm not saying that that's the thing. I just think it's a funny thing to have a judge on TV or a movie. Like,
I thought you wanted to do something like really stupid and immature, like we do, like best butt.
I mean, we do stupid and immature stuff like that,
Right. That's what I'm saying.
but it could be just rare,
we made
like
vagina
random,
pops. And,
random things. Just I don't know.
Yeah,
Best place to
but
get
you didn't
best
make
places.
a vagina cake.
no, I didn't make a vagina cake. You have to like. You work your way up to that. It was vagina pops, and then graduated to the vagina cake. I did not make the vagina cake, but I did inspire the vagina cake.
You were the inspiration
That's
of
what
the
I'm saying.
vagina cake.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. So I didn't make it
I
just
did a
because
very good job on
you
that.
did, but
vagina
nobody
cake.
would want to eat anything I bake. That's for sure. No, I'm not a baker.
No, but your wife is because I've had cookies. You
Yeah, no,
make delicious cookies.
I'm not a baker. That's for sure. I'm not a candlestick maker either.
Nope.
No. I'm a candlestick burner, but not a maker. I'm a
Oh, I'm
candlestick
constantly
destroyer.
doing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's
I feel
that
like
thing.
I'm definitely doing that right
Are you
now.
going to do that thing?
I make a candlestick?
No.
No, not.
I told you I'm manic.
Okay. So real quick, just to let folks know, if you've been listening, if you haven't been listening before, welcome. But a few weeks ago, we talked about a book from Matt Hungolitz Hetling. I think I got his name right. A libertarian walked into a bear, and you go check out our show when we're talking about that. But from trying to get Matt on the show, he was like, that's cool, but I have a new book coming out, and can I come on and talk about that? And I was like, yeah, what am I going to say? No.
Of course we want you to.
So his publicist, who seems cool just by emails, but she sent a copy of the new book. It's hot out on the presses, and yeah, I'll put a link to where you can go get it. I think from Powell Books. I think I had it set up that way.
Okay.
And it's called "If It Sounds Like a Quack," and I'm on page 41, so I've just started it today. And it's
Are all my doctors listed?
maybe it's a journey to the fringes of American medicine. So so if they start telling you to use leeches, then they're probably in here. I just finished reading a chapter about leeches. Yeah.
Interesting.
So,
I'm not going to stick a leech in my urethra.
right.
No,
That's what I'm
you're
saying.
not.
No.
Probably not.
No.
Probably a bad choice.
So, probably.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess with.
I mean, we won't know until we do it, but
But I'm gonna go with bad choice.
As a science teacher,
it seems
Melissa,
legit.
as now a legitimate science
Oh yeah,
teacher,
that's right. You are a science teacher now.
that's called a hypothesis. If I had a little bell, I would dig it.
I know. Ding ding ding.
Right. It's a hypothesis.
It's a hypothesis.
You have a bell up here.
I have the singing bowl. That's
You do
true.
have a singing bowl.
And buried in that thing is a cowbell, which I've put away for the time being. So
'Cause
anyway,
I couldn't stop playing with it because I needed more cowbell.
yes, that's
Yeah,
actually
I
I
know.
did. I had it right here. But so I have the book, and we're gonna have Matt on. I'm gonna say probably in a month, because next week, if we do a show, I'll be doing it from Arizona. And then the week after that, we'll be at the Rochester Erotic Arts Festival, and that we just really think that might be 2 shows worth of material.
yeah, I
So,
think so.
it's going to be a little bit before we get a chance to get Matt on, but he will be. But in the meantime, you should totally check out the book. Either Libertarian Walked Into a Bear, or If It Sounds Like a Quack. And there's a bunch of bookstores that you can access at stuartpedasso.com, and go grab it there. Either one of those books. It's really cool. Let's see, any other things? Housekeeping, as I was saying. So I've noticed, by the way, and as I mentioned, people listening to the show for the first time, because since the great Geneva debacle, I will say, when I got let go, kind of forced out of the Geneva Central City School District. I said the name. Really, they can't fire me twice. But actually, since we came back doing the show after that fiasco, more people are listening. Not a ton. But I would say, not have to do math, 50% more.
Yeah.
So we're still heard by tens of people, but it's just more tens.
A little more tons.
Yeah.
A few more tons.
A couple more tens.
Yeah, that's fabulous.
Some more tens. So welcome. Thanks for tuning in. I hope, I bring that up because I noticed something. Now, I don't know if this was a marketing thing, but an email that Stuart got, apparently there are tons of podcasts out there.
Oh God, so many.
So many.
So many podcasts.
But what they're finding out now is that people who are doing these podcasts are finding it, I got to do this like every week. And so many, many podcasts are starting to, if they're lucky, do it once a month. And the audience for podcasts is going up.
Right.
But
once a month, you're going to lose people.
Well, yeah. So I just
that's
wanted
not a good
to,
idea.
yeah. So I just welcome, if you're, in your search of podcast goodness, creamy podcast goodness, if you stumbled upon us, and hopefully we will be in your rotation. You can subscribe to us in a number of ways, whether it's through Apple, iTunes. Feel free to give us the 5-star rating that everybody begs for, or if it's wherever. That's really cool, and thanks. And maybe we can get to hundreds of listeners.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be nice. So you can listen to us talk about books like If It Sounds Like a Quack, or Our new awards for best
butts.
butt kissing of butts. Something. I don't know. I'm just riffing. I've only had 2 sips of this Jameson.
I know you're not even. Yeah, you're not even really drunk.
Yeah, not beer. I'm going with Jameson's today. I just thought I'd do something a little different. It's been a while.
Yeah.
I think the last time we had this was the last time Nina was on.
Oh gosh.
Wasn't it?
Well, I wasn't here that time. That last time she was
When
here.
she brought whiskey?
Yeah, I wasn't here that one time. Oh wait, no, I was here. No, I was.
I thought for the whiskey.
I was here, but she was here another time that I wasn't here.
That's true.
Yeah, that was sad.
Yeah.
What you got?
That's it.
That was it?
Yeah. Well, no, I've got tons of things, but
Oh, okay.
you have
No,
the thing you talked about.
No, there's a thing.
There's a thing.
The thing. So the thing that I want to talk about
Yeah.
is last night.
Yes.
I went to a event at ROCO, which is Rochester Contemporary Art Center in downtown Rochester.
Okay. Oh, contemporary. Oh, yeah, I know where that is.
Yeah,
All right. It took me a second
downtown.
because you told me in the text that it was at Hungerford, which I was
I
very.
thought it was at Hungerford, and I'm like, that's
confused.
weird.
Yeah.
I'm like, and then Jay reminded me where it was. I was like, oh, that makes more sense.
Yeah, because we don't like the Hungerford anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we really don't like the Hungerford.
Yeah. Okay. Which is a local thing. We don't have to get into that.
Well, I mean, we're going to get into it because I'm going to talk about it. So,
all right. Well,
okay,
fair
so
enough. There we go.
it was
Take
last
notes,
night.
kids.
Yeah, take notes. I took notes.
You did.
I take notes and as Dave had noted, he goes, "You took notes when we went to the cannabis thing too." And I said, "I do. I take notes. One, because if I don't take notes, I just won't remember shit. And I like names. Like I definitely want to remember names and write down names because that's important.
At the end of the meeting, did you ask the teacher if there was homework? Were you that person?
No.
Oh,
I
good.
didn't.
Thank God. Nobody likes that.
I don't know
person.
who would have
don't do
answered that. So I take notes. I always take notes. Plus, it keeps me awake and paying attention because I have the ADHD. So I have a tendency to
I want to talk about that later.
just kind of whatever.
I have a theory.
Start looking
Oh, good.
at
We have a
other
mental
things.
health professional here too.
Yeah, well, I'll just because especially I'm also in an art gallery and I'm like there's like stuff.
Oh, that's true.
So doing this makes me pay attention. So anyway, there's a problem in the Rochester art community, and I'm sure this is a problem in other communities, which we talked about
Around the world, not
around-
just
yeah. So when the pandemic happened, inflation went up. People are looking to be places where it's cheaper because it's harder to live, and people people aren't getting raises to go along with what people are what they need to make. So people who have money are coming in and buying up these buildings. Because a place like Rochester isn't as expensive as some of these larger metropolitan areas, as I'm sure all of us in this room know. So people are coming in and they're like, they're not looking at New York City. They can't afford New York City, but they got their eye on Rochester. And so a lot of developers have been coming in and buying property and all that kind of stuff.
from other cities, other places.
Well,
Even
yeah.
international.
Yeah,
actually,
yeah, they don't not even. So the person who bought the Hungerford is Peter Hungerford. Huh.
Well, I can give a minor quick background. I feel like, well, was that just a coincidence? Actually, Peter Hungerford owned it, and then he kind of had to sell it, which is a long story. It's not important. And that was about 2-3 years ago, and now he's recently repurchased it.
No, it was longer than that.
Well, however long it was, but
Yeah,
he's
it was like
repurchased it,
Yeah.
and chaos is ensuing.
It's well over like 10, 15 years ago that he owned it. It's been a long time since he's owned it. He was kicked out of Rochester because he was a shitty person, basically.
Yes.
Shitty landlord, shitty person. So no, Hungerford is actually not named after him either. It's actually named after something else. It's not him. It just it's another person. Somebody
And
else told me about it.
that's like weird and ironic at the same time.
It is like it
that
is
he's
kinda
owned it
strange.
twice and it wasn't even his name.
No, it's not his name.
Okay, well that's just fucking weird.
So anywho, he's a douchebag, but he's a douchebag with a lot of fucking money. He is
Hand in
raised
hand.
right, so he's like they do. Not always. Some people with a lot of money are awesome, just not this guy. He of course, raised the rent, kicked a lot of people out,
Like you do.
said, well, we want this space, so we're going to kick you out. You know, if you want to stay, you can have this space, but you're going to have to pay more money for this other space that you don't even want. It's like, okay. So a lot of people have left. A lot of people are there on a month to month at this point. So they're not only are they paying for the rent and the normal things that they paid for, now they're paying for this other thing. And I should have written the word down, but they're paying for this other thing now, which is basically upkeep of the building. So he's charging for the upkeep of the building. He's actually charging his tenants.
Like a maintenance fee kind of thing.
Yeah, but it's outrageous.
Yeah, well,
like one person's like recently was $500. Like recently, it keeps going up. Like they each month, each time they get it, it keeps going up.
Well, yeah, it's
and they can't do anything about it.
It's to drive people up.
Right, it is. So we were, you know, and here's the thing: he's got such a bad rep. I don't know what he thinks he's going to get in that building if he kicks out all the artists. So a lot has been talked about, and I don't want to say too much about what was talked about because some of it definitely is not for the airways, as it were. Because some stuff was, you know, it's not.
That's fine.
Because we didn't want people there who didn't belong there.
Oh, I totally understand.
Yeah.
No, and when I was running for office, I was invited to a landlords meeting, thinking, you know, hey, if this guy wins and he's on city council, you know, we want him to know our point of view. And they were disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, yeah, no, I totally, and I'm in the back of the room and they're like, oh, welcome and all that shit. And I'm just listening to them bitch about the lack of respect they had for the people renting their own property, that I was like, you all suck.
Yeah, it sucks so bad.
Yeah.
So we didn't allow there wasn't any press or anybody there because this is really just artists who are really frustrated with what's going on. So J Rowe was there to talk about the co-op that we've started. And it's technically right now we're calling it Rochester Arts and Causes Collective. And it's arts and causes because we do have Greenovation is going to be there. And so is Keeping Our Promise. It's a charity organization that's going to be in there, as well as the Ravens will be there. So it's not just arts. It's so we had to couldn't just call it an art thing. So he talked about what we're doing there, and talking about how to basically talking about we need to have co-ops. We need to all.
I don't know why I didn't think. No,
I would have loved if you could have gone.
Maybe my ADHD's kicking in. I don't know, but you just made me think of something. I don't know why we haven't invited Kim to come on from Greenovation.
Oh, we definitely should.
I know. I just saw that right now.
Oh my God, we totally should. I just became friends with her on the Facebook.
She's awesome.
Yeah, she's really great. So yeah, I would. Yeah, that would be great to have her on to talk about what's going on there. So Greenovation. So it's I think
because they're moving.
They had to move
to that building,
to the building that I'm talking about.
Yeah, that the artist collective's moving into over on Flint Street, over in Plex.
Yep, Plex, the refinery is.
Sorry, I know local references. I apologize about that, guys, but yeah.
So the person was really great, and I was so happy. I'm kind of bouncing around here a little bit, but one of the things that was great is the person who owns those buildings. He was there. Well, I didn't know this. He's only a quarter owner of the property there, but he was there. That was great.
The place where the cooperative's moving into.
Correct.
Not the Hungerford.
No, not
just making sure our listeners are.
I'm sorry. The person who, the person who owns the refinery. Yep.
I'm steering. It's all good. Yeah.
He was there. His name was Luke, and it was great having him there to talk about his what he is there, what he's doing. I didn't know he was an artist also, and so I thought that was pretty cool to find out that he owns this property, and he talked about why he owned it, and he said, and it was great to hear it from him, because it made me feel even more happy about doing this, about working with him, because we don't own the buildings,
right? Where on Flint is it?
I don't know.
It's like 22 Flint Street.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
It's like a dead end. It's a dead end part of Flint Street. There's nothing. It ends there. So I don't know where Flint Street goes on the other end, but it's where we are is like the very end of Flint Street.
We could take a drive sometime.
Yeah.
Not today.
Yeah, not today.
No, not today. I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah. So I don't know, where was I?
Too busy burning my esophagus with this whiskey.
So yeah, it was great. It was great hearing Luke. It was great hearing other people. There were several people who were there who were from the Hungerford. They told their stories, their horror stories about what it's been like. It's just terrible. It's disgusting. It's the greed involved with all of this and the lack of caring about actual human beings that are your tenants is just so gross. And we talked about like some things that but the main thing I got one of the people that was there was Kelvin Eaton. You probably know him.
I know who he is.
Yeah, you know who he is.
Yeah,
and he's the founder and CEO of 540 West
Yep.
Main. So he was there and he brought up a point, like, because one of the people that was there, one of the artists from the Hungerford was like, we can't do anything about Peter because he is a bigwig, he has money, he can just squash us. And Calvin came up. Calvin was one of the speakers, and he was like, no, he goes, we will not be squashed. He goes, they need us. We're the reason that that these properties can even exist. So with you get a group of people together, you get a group of us together that are really serious about this and fighting against this, so I don't know where this is going to lead from there, but it was really great to hear all these people who were artists from all different walks of life. There was even a couple people from out of the area that knew about it, that came to hear about it. One from New York City, talking about the meatpacking district and how when they started there, when it was literally just meatpacking places and
like
strip
and,
clubs and and to what it is now, which is really pretty cool. But she started there as an artist when it was crap. And now it is what it is, and talked about we talked about gentrification was obviously a very big talk. Like, how do we, like, like Calvin brought up, nobody's against making things better and more lovely and more and nicer, and like nobody is against that, but it needs to be done in consideration of the people that it actually impacts.
Yeah.
And that, so like, nobody's saying that we can't have progress. We love progress. We love things that are new, and yeah. So I don't.
It's a Venn diagram, because when you have that progress, what happens is, if the progress kicks people out who have been there all along, then it's gentrification.
Right.
That's bad. Okay. So right. So I can't do the voice though. I've tried to do the voice. I can't do the voice.
Oh, the
okay, yeah, I can't. I'm not good at that voice. So that's when it gets bad. And the times that I've run for office, that's been part of the conversation. Is like, no, of course, doesn't mean you leave an area that's quote distressed and you leave it that way, or you let it get worse. But making it better shouldn't be at the expense of the people who are there. So
right.
then they got to go find another crappy place to live because that's all they can afford. So yeah, that's what gentrification does, and that's what this douchebag.
Yeah, this Hungerford Peter jerk face.
Dick Peter Hungerford. Peter Dick Hungerford.
We don't like that guy. We don't like you, Peter Dick Hungerford, whatever your fucking name is.
You give people whose names are another name for penises a bad penis name.
Yeah, man.
Penis Hungerford.
So stupid. I know, you're so dumb and childish.
Win my award. Best name that stands for a penis.
See, we could.
Peter Hungerford.
Yeah. So what else happened? So yeah, I just got to meet some more people. I met somebody who actually I work with at the Morel Art Gallery, and I'd never met him before, so I didn't know him. So he's like, "Well, I'll see you at work."
It's a big place.
Yeah. He doesn't work where I work, so
yeah.
I mean, where I work, there's literally 3 people that work there and a bunch of volunteers. So, yeah, don't know him, but
What does he do? What else is there to do at a museum?
My God, there's so much going on in there. It's amazing, actually, when I think about because he works in the workshop, in the creative workshop downstairs, which is
That's not a museum. That's a
classes. You take
workshop.
classes.
I mean,
Yeah,
a
but it's in a
museum, you just
museum.
need someone to open up and turn the lights on so people can go look around. But there's other things happening.
Right. Well, there's people that take classes there, and there's a really beautiful place for people to have parties there. So they have events. People get married there, and and so that kind of stuff happens. And there's lots of stuff. And then there's
Getting married in a museum.
I know, really, nothing cool like a baseball field.
That's fine. They get married in a museum. Better than getting married at the Dick Hungerford's building.
Yeah.
Original home of Rochester Free Radio.
Oh, get this.
Yeah.
I just found out last night. So, Metro Justice, and I again, we apologize for people who don't know the stuff.
It's a local activist group.
A local
I used to be
activist
involved
group.
with them back in the day.
Well, the Ravens shared a space with them,
Yeah,
and they
'cause of
got
Jay.
kicked out. Right. And when they got kicked out, they were one of the people that they were like, well, you can't stay here, but there's this other place down here in the basement you can get. It was horrible. And the reason they wanted that particular one is because they liked how nice it was, and they wanted to move their office there. Can you fucking believe that shit? I was, one of the people that helped make it nice there, and Jay and I built a wall one day, and we had a little library, we had a projector, we had all kinds of cool stuff.
Yeah.
And it was a really nice office because everybody who was there between the Ravens and Metro Justice made it nice.
Yeah.
Bastards.
That's how bastards work, man. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Bastards are going to be bastards.
So, yeah, and then what else was going on? So, and the Rochester Art Club. I don't know if you know about that.
I don't know.
Okay, so the Rochester Art
It's
Club.
not a club I'm allowed in.
I'm not good enough to be in that club either, which is fine. But the Rochester Art Club is
I bet they have a handshake, too.
I think I don't know if it's the oldest. It's either the oldest or the second oldest art club in the United States. They're actually the Rochester Art Club is actually the club basically that got the Memorial Art Gallery going. So there's a big bond between the Memorial Art Gallery and the Rochester Art Club.
All right, then.
They were at the Hungerford for like 10, 15 years, and they're one of the people that are leaving. I was worried. I thought that maybe the club was disbanding because I would have been really sad for that. It's been around a long time, but some people were there and they're like, nope, we're just getting kicked out too. Can't afford to be there. Kicking out the largest, one of the oldest clubs in the existence in the United States, and you're kicking them out.
Well,
Nice.
Okay, I'll wait because I have a way to transition. So,
What else was going on? I don't know. It was anyway, my thought is I really think, and I don't know if this is a possibility, like, couldn't there be an artists union?
I think there is such a thing.
well, yeah. There. Well, I know
for certain arts, of course.
there's
like,
musicians,
there's musicians
and actors,
and
like,
and stuff. They definitely do. But I'm just trying to think of like, are there unions for like people like us, like a ceramists union, a printmakers union, whatever, just an art union.
I don't know how that would. Maybe I don't know how that would work because usually a union. That's not true either. Yeah, it would have to operate something like. It'd be a different thing. So, like a teachers union, there's collective bargaining, right? So, like you have a contract that everybody who works in a certain district, you in theory all agree to this contract with that district, and those are the rules. both teachers and the district go by, or staff or whatever. But the musicians union, in theory, that means anybody who books a musician, has to abide by certain things, but you're always going to have folks who don't go by that, even musicians who will be non-union and do other things. But a lot of times what happens for those unions is that their real main benefit is like healthcare.
Right.
Is a thing where, like, people who'd be on their own for healthcare, it's a way to get a cheaper rate because you do it as a group. That tends to be for stuff like individual artists when they have a union. That's what it does a lot of.
I'm just like, I don't really know. I don't know a lot about unions, to be honest. I've never been in a union. None of my family members, as far as I know, were in unions. Not that anybody was against them, as far as I know. I just don't have any.
Yeah.
I've never dealt with them at all, really.
Yeah.
Before.
And then things like a lot of times with artists, particularly like writers and stuff like that, like TV writers and things like that, it has to do a lot with royalties.
Right.
And that's why, like, every once in a while you see TV writers go on strikes because the TV the networks try to screw them over, whether it's the inventing of streaming was the last one, but before that was DVDs and things like that. Who gets the royalties off of that? And of course the conglomerates will try to every single goddamn penny that they possibly can take and steal, and just leave, the people who actually created the shit out of it. And that's where a lot of those strikes happen. And that's where unions come in handy too, even if it's writers at different TV shows and on different networks.
Right.
That's why guys like, which I was a little annoyed, like, he was supposed to be these big liberal people like Jon Stewart, kept doing a show when his writers were out on strike. I was kind of like, hey, you cheesy bastard.
I'm kind of surprised.
I was watching. I know. I was watching.
I'm surprised.
I don't mean I was
that.
watching the show. I mean I was watching.
No, I know. I'm like, I see you, Jon Stewart. Because I expected better from you.
Because if he didn't, then his big ass fucking contract with Comedy Central, who owns them, was it ABC? I can't remember who owns
Whoever
it.
owns them.
Yeah. He could void his big ass contract at the time. So he was like in quote solidarity, but he was still doing the show on his own. So yeah.
So anyway, I guess that definitely these meetings are going to continue. I guess one of the meetings that's upcoming is about storefront. So I will definitely be involved with that meeting, considering that's something I actually have working knowledge of, and things like that. So I'm kind of excited. I'm like, it sucks that we have to have these types of meetings, because the greed is beyond whatever. It's awful. We all know this. It's awful, but I do like the fact that it's bringing people together. I like the fact that it's giving, we're all getting to know each other. People are getting to know each other, making connections, all that kind of stuff. I really do feel like we're a commodity.
Art.
Yeah.
We're
the art is a commodity. The artists are a commodity, because part of what brings people there is it's not just the art, but it's also who the artist is and who that person is, and people go there for both, I feel. And so if people do, if they stop paying rent, or if they, stop, I don't know, don't they do rent strikes where people stop paying rent?
You can totally do rent
strikes. If people do rent strikes, or if they do other, like, if we're all in this together, they can't live without us. Like, they can't, if we're together, if we're banded together, or if all of us are banded together, they can't survive without us.
Can I segue?
Yes, I think that's what I gotta say.
Okay.
They can't survive without us.
And you can say that about just about everything.
Yeah.
So that's actually where I was going with my next thing, is that, so I was going to ask folks, no matter where you're listening to the show, you don't have to be in the art community here in Rochester, New York. It can be anyone. So are you ready to start getting involved now? I mean, we've kind of been saying this on the show for years, but at some point people are going to get fed up. So I'm just kind of not really rhetorically asking, are you at a point? Does there have to be another school shooting? I mean, we're almost at war with China and or Russia. The medical health, people are still dying of COVID. Pick it. The schools are like absolutely ridiculous.
Mental health. I mean, the mental health situation in this country is out of control.
Are you ready yet? I mean, I'm not telling you what you should be ready to get involved in, but I mean, like, you don't have to like necessarily, although it would be cool to like be out in the streets, but like to purposefully and consciously start, even if it's like spreading your money around, right? I mean, are you ready to at the very least stop using unethical companies to get your shit from? I mean, something. I mean, it's at what point? We are literally on the brink of another world war, right? And by the way, just so y'all know, it's Democrats running the show with this, so don't even go with Trump and shit, which we can talk about again if we have to. These are Democrats that are driving us to war. So your favorite team's doing it. I'm assuming you're on that side if you're listening to this show. But even if you're in another country, which, brings other things. I remember when I was training folks to do civil disobedience, and it was an interesting conversation to have with people of color about getting arrested by the police for a protest.
Yeah,
right.
Imagine, yeah.
And we had that conversation. Like, if you're not getting arrested at the protest because you're a person of color, totally respect that. I don't blame you. I probably wouldn't either.
You have other things you can do to help.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be there doing civil disobedience, but really, like, at what point does Wells Fargo or whatever company you're paying your mortgage to, do they have to like pull some shady shit and try and take your house, even though you've been paying your mortgage? Like, does it literally have to affect you that personally for you to finally get fed up and get involved in something?
Well, I feel like, I feel like one of the things that needs to, I mean, I'm certainly not advocating that somebody go out and kill anybody I'm not, even though some people, their lives are not worth to me as much as others, but admittedly. But I feel like the only time things like this happen is like the only time things change is like when somebody, like when Reagan got shot and then they did the Brady bill. Like, it has to be something like somebody like that has to like be shot or have their life threatened in a very serious manner for anything to get done. Not saying that somebody should do that, but I feel sad to say that I feel like that's the only thing that's going to change anybody's mind. Well, they don't care about kids.
I'm not just talking about guns. I'm talking about anything. I mean, there are pick something that you care about or something that's involved in your life, whether it's a family member or just something that you say is horrible. If you think it's here in this city, the city that we live in, the city run with our tax dollars kind of animal shelter is now just not taking animals now. You can't just drop off a cat or a dog, and the ones that they find out on the street, they're pretty much like euthanizing them. They've turned into a kill shelter when they never used to do that. And so if animals are your thing, like, so at what point? I mean, isn't it time yet? What exactly are you waiting for to not get involved?
Are people just not adopting?
I think their reasoning is it might have to do with money. I'm not sure. We'd have to ask some other people about it. I haven't been. That's what I heard.
Of course, because I know damn well that some of those dogs are most likely bully breeds, and that just breaks my heart.
Well, I mean, that's where we got our cats from. Yeah. So apparently, if we wanted another cat after Artemis is no longer with us, I don't think we'd have to go.
She's not going anywhere anytime soon.
No, I know that. What I'm saying,
no. She's perfectly healthy and lovely, and having the best life.
We couldn't.
Her best.
We couldn't do that again. We'd have to go someplace else, like Lollipop or another thing, which is fine. But the point is,
Lollipop is doing the same thing.
They do.
Well, no, they take straight.
Yeah, but they euthanize.
Yeah, they always have though. But anyway, let's not get into local shit.
Anyhow.
My point is, so I'm just like,
it doesn't Hearthside cats.
So my point is,
I do know of one that doesn't.
with all of the stuff, pick
Anyway,
your issue.
thing.
Pick your
whatever
thing.
is.
At what point? I mean, I would think that the world is this fucked up, and the systems. Look, this is not by accident, right? All of the rich folk, and I don't care if you don't want to hear me talk about class warfare. Go listen to fucking Mark Maron's podcast. I don't even know what the hell he talks about anymore. Go listen to somebody else's. But this is a class warfare thing, and if you don't get it by now that the rich folk could not care less about us, I don't know what's got to happen. I mean, do they literally have to come for your kids? I don't know exactly what it is, but just look around. Watch your local news, watch the national news, the corporate news, whatever you need to do. That's the chaos, the shitty ass weather. That's climate change that was being denied and all this shit for years, and the oil companies are still like running shit, and like, all right, at what point? We looked this up the other day. I don't remember how the conversation started. We saw there was going to be a problem with solar panels when Trump was president, because being him, they put a huge tariff on Chinese solar panels.
Yep, I remember.
So all the solar companies here in the United States were like, we're not going to have enough panels. People want us to install, and we don't have the panels because of this stupid tariff. So nothing. If it had been announced, I didn't see it, so I just looked it up. Okay, did the Biden administration get rid of the tariff? Well, I have good news and I have bad news.
What's up?
They lifted it for 2 years. They put a moratorium. Like, they couldn't just say, this is bullshit, we're getting rid of it.
Right.
So this way, they placate the assholes who are on board with the tariff on Chinese solar panels, but now they can say it's only for 2 years. So it's like, dude.
I can't help but think today, I was like, isn't the New York State legislature, isn't it all Democrat right now?
Yeah. Every
they're
branch.
sucking.
Yeah.
They're sucking so bad.
Yep. Yeah.
So they don't have any fucking leg to stand on. Well,
Nope.
if it was all no, what are y'all doing?
It's been all Democrat in New York State for 5-6 years, and bills for single payer healthcare in New York just kind of sit in committee. Someone always puts their name on it, but it just sits in committee. They never even vote on it. Nope.
I mean, they gave us,
they
legal
passed laws.
cannabis, but I mean, all right, but
They're still fucking it up.
Except for the
except
Finger
they're still
Lakes.
fucking it up. Oh yeah, not in the Finger Lakes. They don't want the cannabis in the Finger Lakes.
Okay, I don't know that, but another time we can.
We can talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just like, when? If not now, when? What is it you need to just get involved to some degree? Now, obviously, I'm talking about folks who are not involved in stuff at all.
Why aren't you?
Pick something. Just pick something. You don't have to start it. Find a group that if it is about, there are groups that are trying to do gun control. Moms starts with moms, and I'm blanking on the rest of their name. It's a national group for gun control.
Moms Against Guns.
Something. It's a little more catchy than
more
that, but
cool.
yeah, it's something. But it starts with moms. I just can't. Find something. Find a group that already exists. I promise it probably does. And dip your toe in it. You don't like it? Find a different group. Find a different cause. We got to start doing this. We got to. No, you got to start doing this. We've been doing shit. You all got to start doing stuff. Okay, people who've been doing this are tired.
Please help us.
Yes, do something. I've been wanting to say that for a while. Like, at what point? Like, seriously, bros. I say bro as non-gender.
Against gun violence.
Oh, I thought it was catchier than that.
No,
Is that really it?
I think that is it. I think she's
Moms
right.
demand action.
Maybe that was it. I think it was Moms Demand Action. But come closer to the mic, though. There you go.
Sorry.
There.
Either moms demand action or moms against gun violence.
Well, you don't have to. I know the one that I had dipped my toe into when last time I was running for office. Well, they came to me. You didn't have to be a mom.
Nope.
No,
I'm sure.
no, you didn't have to be a mom. So something, just
There's a dude right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you probably don't even have to be a woman.
no. You can have a penis, or you can have a penis and still be considered yourself a woman. It doesn't matter.
You can be whatever you want to be. And
You
still be
just
in this
need to be
group.
breathing. Okay, you can get involved in something. So just do something.
Do a thing.
And if you're in another country, where I was going with that, I know in some countries it gets a little more dicey when you speak up against the government. If you're listening to this, maybe in the People's Republic of something, if you know what I'm saying.
It's always the People's Republic of
yeah,
something.
that's never really a People's Republic, but yeah, it's what you can do. At least the minimal. Do the minimal. If you've been doing nothing, do something. It's time. Even if it's online petitions, which don't do much, but at least start. It's that initial thing to get you going and get involved in something. It's important. We're on fucking fire, guys. Do this.
And it's kind of the world's on fire.
Yes.
You know, I have
Literally.
Well, I mean, as I have talked about on this show many times, but maybe new people who might be hearing wouldn't know that I spent a year abroad in Finland when I graduated from high school back in 1991. And so I have friends that I'm still good friends with on the Facebook who I was friends with there. And one, like my bestie, my bestie from there, her name is Anna. And
Of course
Anna,
it is.
of course, I know.
Isn't everybody in Europe all women named Anna?
I know
think
it's
so.
there's a lot of Annas. Okay. So, and Anna and I probably chat almost every day at some point on the Facebook. So she and I have talked about how, like, even though Finland is up there, has considered one of the happiest places on earth, you know, people look at it as like Scandinavian countries in general, they look at as like, if you're a liberal person, that you're going, oh, look how great, you know, and stuff. And I mean, they're better than us, frankly, I'll be honest. But, you know, she's told me about some shit that's going on in Finland too, that ain't cool. Ain't good.
Some of those countries that are known for their liberalness, whatever you want to call it, they get some Nazis hanging out in there sometimes.
Yeah, everybody's got some fucking assholes.
If there's more than one person in a room, there's going to be some shittiness happening somehow if you leave them alone long enough. No, I totally hear you.
Like she was even saying, like Denmark, she was like talking about how shitty she thinks some of their political policies are and stuff. And I don't know I don't know, obviously, nearly as much as she does, but what I can tell you that's interesting, the United States is flying over Finland on a regular basis because of the war, because they're, you know, right next door to Russia.
Yeah. Okay.
Literally, you can see like you can see flight patterns. She posted a picture of like the flight patterns right over her house.
In the past 2 months, there have been 2 national days of war protests in the United States. Unfortunately, I've been stuck. Well, they've been in D.C. and I haven't been able to get to any of them, like I did for the Iraq War when I went to New York. But at some point, I do. By the way, Eve, I just like to say this. At some point, I do plan on going to one of them. I just don't know when the next one is. Yeah, but there'll be thousands. I'll be blending right in. It's not like, 100 people.
Where do you think it'll be?
Probably D.C., I would assume.
When?
I don't know if there's a new one. I know there was one in March, and there was one in February and one in March. I haven't heard of when the next one is. So
They're probably on the weekends, though.
Yeah, no, it would be that.
That's the part that sucks about I love my job. I really, really love what I do, and I enjoy being there. I really wish I didn't have to work Saturday and Sunday.
It's the glories of retail.
It is the glories of retail. I mean, it's fun while I'm there. It's just tough to do other things.
Sure.
Yeah.
But then when other people have to work, you be like, look at me on Monday.
I know, that's the other thing that I do think about.
Monday.
Yeah.
I know, I don't
I've
work
been there.
Mondays. I don't
I've been
work
there.
Mondays, and I do like the fact that I don't work Mondays. So, yeah, I mean, I don't even feel like I have weekends or like everything just kind of blends now.
Yeah.
Like I either have a day off or I don't have a day. Like every day is like, are you working or not working? I know it's weird. Like I'm living a life of like, I have to do the hustle now. I'm kind of living in that life. And it's weird to be living that life at 50. When you figure at 50, you start getting to like I'm just cruising now. Things are chill. I don't have to think about as much. But now I'm doing the opposite. But I'm kind of digging it. Oh, man, I think it's
working nights. I was so thrown off on what day of the week it was.
Yeah, it'll do that. Yeah.
But
Yep.
now that I'm Monday through Friday, I have to think about what day of the week it is so I know what my hours are.
Yeah, but you don't have the same hours.
I
every
don't
day.
have the same hours every
That's-
day.
Oh, that
Sucks
makes
too.
it even more.
Yeah.
Yeah, my hours are pretty much the same.
There was a time when I was doing overnights. I worked overnights and had Sunday and Mondays off. And I couldn't tell you what year it was. You know, that was when I was eating garbage plates at 8 in the morning and drinking beer at 10 in the morning, you know. And to me, that's dinner time.
Well, yeah, it is.
Right. Yeah, but
mean,
it's
that's why
still
some
weird
place-
when you're getting beer at 10 in the morning and people are looking at you like, "All right, you freak." And whatever.
Well, I mean, Enright's that one bar is open like early in the morning
Yeah.
because I think it's because that's what they cater to those third.
There
those
used
third
to be,
shift people.
and again, local reference, but this city was known for Eastman Kodak, that company that's pretty much down to nothing now. But this was a Kodak town, and their factories were 24/7, and people working all shifts. They had bars in that neighborhood that opened in the morning for the overnight workers.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
which makes sense. They want
Yeah.
to have a drink before
it's your happy hour.
Yeah.
You know, who the fuck wants goddamn orange juice for happy hour, dude?
No.
No. Right.
No.
So speaking of work and jobs, I have a story I'd like to tell you. I'm sorry if you're going to hear this again, but I'm going to put it in a context. Well, that's fine, whatever.
You can
Yeah,
get a little
should-
nappy.
if you're going to nap, should I turn the mic off so you don't snore in the mic? That's fine.
Don't snore.
Okay, sure. So
That's like me saying I don't snore, and
Yeah,
I have an
okay.
app now, so I totally know I snore.
it's all good. It's fine. No, honey, you don't. So as we do on this show, I've talked many times. In fact, I've mentioned it here. I'm a teacher, and the last few years with the pandemic and just the state of public education everywhere, even in this glorious state of New York, teaching sucks. And there's different reasons for it, and that's not the reason I want to get into this.
It's really awful too because it's such a noble and awesome profession to be in, and it really.
So
That's really
I
sad.
haven't said everything, but in the past few years, I've gone through some things, right? Like I consider myself to be I'm a good teacher. I don't talk about myself in a good way most of the time, but I know I'm a good teacher. It's something I know that I'm good at. But in some the past few places I've been, like I've never gotten bad reviews until this one place. Like all of a sudden, I don't know how to teach. Right?
Even though your students really liked you, though. I mean, you told me lots of students really liked you.
Yeah, so this
It doesn't matter if the students like you anyway.
So this principal literally told somebody else when I was going for a different job to not hire me. So whatever. I'm gone. I'm gone. I never have to worry about that again. So I'm in this place that I started in about 3 months ago. Well, we're not going to, I learned my lesson
names,
from
no
shitty
names.
Geneva, right? So I'm not going to say anything about that. So I'm in this different place. I'm not going to say where I am. And if you're especially in New York State, but generally in America, I don't know how it is in other countries, usually you get observed by some kind of administrator, whether it's the principal, assistant principal, vice principal. whatever they call them.
they should.
Yeah, whatever. I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm just saying that's how it is. I don't know how it is in other countries, how they assess teaching and all that jazz. So, so I've been there only like 3 months. Sorry to count on my fingers for a minute. And
You're not a math teacher.
no, I'm not. So I've already been observed 3 times, which is a full year's worth for a teacher who doesn't have tenure. And I've only been there 3 months, and that's fine, totally fine.
Yeah, that definitely seems like overkill.
No, it's because they need to get it in. It's all a paperwork thing, right? I'm a teacher. It needs to be 3 times. I thought they would have, maybe just done once or twice because I just started, but whatever. You got it.
Nope.
I've never cared up until that one principal who can go choke on it now. Other than that, I've never had a problem with anyone being in my room. I don't have a problem. I even got a bad review from that person on Zoom during the pandemic. Right. That's how. But anyway, sorry. I don't want to stay off that. So I want to tell the story about this observation I had a week ago.
I'm going to go get a beer so I can hear your
Okay.
awesome story.
All right. So I get observed. I'm teaching a subject that's not really what I'm supposed to be teaching. I'm teaching science. I'm teaching what they call living environment, biology, right? So
Is that like earth science?
no, it's biology. It's biology.
Oh, I
it's
love
what
biology.
it's what they call
Oh,
biology.
they call it bio. Oh,
They
they call it-
living environment. Yeah. So
Wait, what grade is this again?
ninth.
Okay.
So I'm teaching this thing, and the principal says, and she's already been and she's already watched me, whatever. So we're doing this lab, a state lab that the kids have to do to be able to sit for these state tests at the end of the year. And look, I'm doing this class by the seat of my pants, right? The kids
Did you know any of this stuff?
Well, just from being a person, and a little bit from I've done special ed where I've had to teach all 4 subjects once, but it was really lower level stuff.
Right. Gotcha.
So, I in a way, I'm not gonna say I'm learning it, but I'm reacquainting it with myself with it, and the vocabulary, all the sciencey vocabulary. I don't memorize shit like that. I know how to look stuff up.
Right.
And I don't remember. I'm a history teacher. I don't memorize dates. I know how to look shit up. Right. I know the concepts. I know relatively order shit happened. I don't remember every name. I don't know what George Washington's hat size is. I don't know that shit. Some people do, and they creep me out, but whatever. So she's coming in, and she's going to observe me, and it's during the lab. And I teach kids who are high need, okay?
What did you say?
They're high need.
High need. I think you said piney.
No, they're high need.
Like pine needles?
No, they're small classes, and they're historically they don't do well, and they get frustrated very easy, and some of them are very hyper, and a lot of swearing in my class, and not by me. It's you got to have a certain mindset to work in an environment like this. So she's like, "All right, which class do you want me to come and watch you?" And I'm thinking, "Oh fuck, okay, not that one. Oof, no, not that one." Well. Sometimes there's not even a student in that class. They don't show up. So I picked the class. It's the most energetic class, but that's not always a good thing.
Right.
So she comes in, and I'll say this much. Probably the number one reason I would never want to be an administrator, at least in New York State, they do it now. They literally write down almost everything said. That's all you do. You're like a stenographer, and then when you leave, you do all the paperwork, the write-up. You look at what you wrote, what the teacher said this, and the student replied that, and then the teacher said this, and then
Really? That's what they do?
man, it's nuts, man. I would never want to do that. I don't have the attention span. You listen to the show, you can tell I don't have the attention span.
I would hate that.
Right. So,
no, I'd hate
That's
that.
how I do my job.
So you'd be fine with it.
but that's as a mental health counselor.
Right. As they're talking, I'm typing.
Yeah, that's just crazy to me. And I think that's a bureaucratic
But it makes
paperwork
sense as a
thing.
mental health counselor, though.
I don't agree. That's a bureaucratic. That's so that the people who pay know that you're doing things right.
Okay, I don't write down word for word verbatim.
Oh,
I
okay.
just write down concepts that we're talking about.
No. Word for word. It's like quotes.
Sometimes I write down quotes if they're funny.
Oh, okay, okay, speaking of which, okay, so this class is going on, and it involves. I'm going to tell you what the lab was about, but you're just going to look at me like, really? That's what you do? This is a state-driven thing. The state says I have to do this. Okay. So we are looking at what Charles Darwin did in the Galapagos Islands, looking at finches. And the different beaks of the different finches on the islands and how it affected what they eat, how they eat, and how the birds survive.
Oh, I think that's actually really interesting.
Yes, but you don't have actual birds and you don't have actual... I didn't know. I literally thought there was going to be like all of these bags of bird beaks, and I was actually terrified of this. I did not want to play with bird beaks. I got no... That's not what it was. So you had different tools to use as different beaks. So there was pliers, there was tweezers, there was clothespin, there was chopsticks, there was all these different things that represented bird beaks. And you used plastic beads, dried peas, pinto beans. These were the different seeds.
Things to pick up.
Now with hyper kids, you have little things, they're going to be everywhere. And they were, right? And especially I had my most hyper kids. So
This is actually, okay, in my own mind,
Yeah.
I'm like, this is actually sort of cute.
Oh, wait, it gets really good.
Okay, because I'm thinking in my head, like ninth graders, and they're probably trying to pick things up. I'm like, that actually sounds kind of cute.
Cute, except with a lot of F-bombs. And they're swearing at each
And that's
other.
still cute. And see, I still think it's sort of cute.
Okay,
I
sure.
don't know. I love teenagers.
Yeah,
I do.
me too. But
I love teens.
okay.
They're
But
cute.
I'm being observed by the principal, who knows these kids. Actually, she knows them better than I do. She's been there all
She's
year.
been
right?
there, she knows them. Yeah.
And so I'm trying. Usually you don't. You're supposed to act like the principal's not or the observer's not there.
Right.
But I can't help it. It's a shiny thing in the room to me, and I'm always like, like I'll say, don't tell the principal, but knowing that the principal's in the room,
Right.
I'm doing
you
it.
joke around and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
I get you.
knowing me, and if you've listened to the show, you relatively do, and the people in this room know me. This is like stand-up, Dave. I'm literally trying to keep these kids engaged without beating each other's asses. Now they have instruments of death in their hands.
You try to beat each other, right?
Right. And little things that they can throw at each other and start problems and stuff like that. So and I have to admit, even a stand-up comedian who we've had stand-ups on the show.
We have.
You have days where your jokes aren't working. You have days where you try stuff and it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
I was on. It was a day.
Awesome.
I was fucking on. And
Awesome.
even though the kids weren't getting all the jokes, the principal was, and the principal was laughing out loud. Right? Yes. Oh, I walked out of this going, okay, I aced this. I'm fine. I'm fine. No problem. But I've had that before.
Didn't you have Wrench Boy?
I don't know who Wrench Boy is. Wrench Boy. I don't know what that is.
The kid that had the wrench and he had like a million things in his bucket.
Oh, he didn't have a wrench. He used chopsticks.
Oh yeah, they had chopsticks.
Like everybody else who used chopsticks, they would get like 10 or 12. This kid figured out a way, and he had like 65 in 60 seconds.
Wow.
And like it followed the rules. In fact, he was sitting
that's
right.
impressive.
He was sitting right in front of the principal who was observing, and she actually has a background in science, so she knew the lab going in. She knew that when she asked me ahead of time, what are we doing? And I said, we're doing the Finch Lab. She was like, oh, I love the Finch Lab. She knew it. And she told me that, because I'm watching everybody, I didn't notice what he's doing. She goes, no, I've been watching him. He did it right.
He's good.
He had a thing. He had the chopsticks and the peas, and he was doing it. So I am on, right? My jokes, kids complaining about his pliers, and I'm calling him Iron.
Guy.
I called him Iron Beak. I didn't even hesitate, man. So now the rest of the day he's Iron Beak, and the kid knows me, and he thought it was funny, and he didn't get mad.
Right, you can tell. I mean, you can tell when there's like a rapport with the teacher.
Yeah.
Where you're having a good time.
So I'm on, right? So it's done. So usually what happens is
sounds so cute.
You have a meeting afterwards to go over, right? How did you think it went? What could you have done better? Here's what I saw. So ours was almost like a week later. So we sit down, right? And she's like, okay, how do you think it went? I was like, and I'm my worst critic. It was okay. I mean, it would have been nice if there weren't as much stuff on I had to put the chairs on the desks overnight so the cleaning crew could get all the peas up and stuff like that. And she laughed and she said to me, this is the best lesson I've ever seen.
Oh, dude.
That's
so nice.
Okay, here's where I'm going.
I know. I'm like,
I'm getting to the punchline, and this shows you where I am, right? So now my brain is thinking, okay, what are all the negative things I could say about myself? Because I can't handle a compliment like that.
I know you're like this.
Right. So, oh my God, let's look at the time. Look at where we are. Okay, so I got to wrap this up. But I resisted. I said, well, yeah, I could do a couple of things better, but thank you. I really do appreciate that. And I just shut up because I knew anything else that came out of my mouth was going to be...
You're going to be bad.
Yeah, I'm going to be down.
Let her compliment
right.
you.
So then she started saying, and this is the part where I'm getting to that shows me how I really am. So she started saying, yeah, and so I went to type this up, and I was doing it at home, and my roommate kept asking me what I was laughing at. And I just kept laughing at all the jokes you were doing and all these things and how the rapport you had and how you were just like didn't miss a beat. And that I was the most proud of was my stand-up. Not that it was the best lesson she'd ever seen. Couldn't care less if they learned about finches. I was on, bitch, and my jokes were there, and I was like king of the stand-up for fucking biology, and that I'm the most proud of.
You should be proud of that.
That didn't make the paperwork, and my paperwork for when I'm up for tenure, nothing about how awesomely funny I was that day.
But I knew it.
But it was the best lesson, and I walked out of there going, yeah, I'm like, I made the principal laugh. That literally was what I was proud of. Not that she literally said
I
it.
totally get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like, had nothing to do with actual teaching that I killed on stage that day.
When I give like days or times or stuff like when my wit is just on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I totally have pride moments. When like sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a good one recently with Alex and Dan where I just kept bringing on the jokes and they were both laughing. And yeah, when that happens, when you just know when you're on,
your brain just clicks and you don't even think.
It's great.
Yeah,
because it just comes to you.
Yeah, because when you're teaching, you hopefully you know what you're doing and you anticipate and you know where it might not go good and stuff like that. No, go well. Sorry, I'm a teacher. I teach good. Sorry about the poor English. So
you don't teach English.
I know it's true. I know. And yeah, no, absolutely. So I mean, there's that part, and everything I do, even when I allow my students to take us off on tangents, I do it knowing, because there's times I say no, we can't go there. But I let it happen sometimes, and the kids think they're getting, we can make atheists go off of the lecture or whatever.
Oh yeah, we used to do it with.
Right. But I know it, and I let it go, and I know when to bring it back. So I really do have control, even when the kids think I don't. Right.
But, that's great. I love that.
But this was just unconscious. I was just there, and everything that they were doing goofy, I had something for it, and I was like, bam, 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 bam. And I was proud that I killed on stage, and not that it was the best lesson the principal had ever seen.
Yeah,
that's how I roll. So I'll be doing 2 weekends at Yuck Yucks coming up. So make sure you come and
Oh my God, Yuck Yucks!
I know. Remember? I was trying to think of Chuckles.
I remember Yuck Yucks.
You remember Yuck Yucks? Where was it? That was like downtown somewhere,
it was downtown.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
And like one of the.
I know exactly
one of
where
the
it was.
hotels.
No, I know exactly where it was.
Oh, okay.
It was at Strip Mall, not Strip Mall, on State Street, where the bar is that we don't like anymore.
Yeah.
That place. There was So it was So I'll be taking my stand up maybe to your town. So,
I saw Gilbert Gottfried there.
Oh, did you?
I did. He was the worst.
Wait, was it in the
Gilbert
90s?
Gottfried.
Was it in like the early 90s, Eve?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't see you liking Gilbert
dude,
Gottfried.
Okay, then I got to tell you that he came into, if it was the early 90s, I used to work at downtown at Walden Books, and he came into Walden Books and he walked around Walden Books, and me and like the other manager was there. We were all like, oh my God, it's Gilbert. Like he didn't say anything to us, and we didn't say anything to him. He just walked around. But he was wearing, I remember this, he was wearing like a cardigan and like a pair of trousers. He looks like the most unassuming dorky dude ever. But it was him.
Yeah, okay. Michael and I saw Bob Saget there.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh,
dirty ass
rip.
Bob Saget.
Oh, rip Bob Saget. Was he super dirty?
Oh yeah. We had no idea. We weren't shocked like my stars, my pearls.
But you didn't know he was gonna be that
dirty.
dirty.
And he was dirty. We just walked out going, damn, that was Bob fucking Saget, man.
Man, he was dirty.
Damn. All right, we are over time, and you got your money's worth today, folks. So thanks for tuning in. We'll, in theory, unless something happens, like I can't get my microphone on the plane, we'll be doing a show from Arizona next week. I don't know who else will be on, but I have a plan.
Probably Dad.
Maybe. I actually have a devious evil plan to get my niece on. So if I do,
think Jay would be great on there.
If I do, it might just be me and her. Them. I don't. What are their pronouns? I don't know.
She
okay, and her. I would really like that.
Cool.
Actually, y'all, if you've been listening to this show and you've been listening to Stripper Radio, you've heard Jay when she was just a child. She was one of the voices in the Nerf Taser bit. Her and Liam. They did the "Don't tase me, bro." They did that as little kids.
Oh my God, that's so cute.
That was
That's adorable.
Yeah. So hopefully, if not, maybe Dad,
cute.
maybe some other fan. But I visualize I'd really like it to be me and Jay because I think that would be a really good conversation to have. So
I think you should.
What? No, so what? I should what?
No, it's just being funny.
What? Be funny? What?
No.
Well, this isn't a Finch Lab, but I'm sure you could. Sorry. Making it about me.
Always.
All right. Well, I'll hit stop and then you can be funny. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Fine. All right. So we'll be back in theory next week. Definitely the week after the Rochester Erotic Arts Fest. I can't tell you it'll be exactly on the weekend because it's Friday and Saturday, and then I got to edit shit. So I'm going to do the best I
It'll be
can.
a while, yeah.
Yeah.
He has to spend time with his wife.
He has to spend time with his wife.
Fine.
That
I
too.
have to. Okay. I'm just kidding. It's a joke. I'm being funny, remember?
Being funny.
That one didn't work, huh?
Chuck, Chuck.
Back to the Finch Lab. All right, peace out, y'all.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Stop resisting. Stop resisting. I'm not resisting. Don't tase me, bro.
New from Hasbro, it's the Nerf Taser. Get your kids ready for a militarized police with this fun, wacky weapon. And it's Nerf, a company you've trusted to train your kids for decades.
Okay, your turn. I don't have a gun.
It's fun. It's zany. It's the Nerf Taser. Available at Walmart, Guns & Go, and Taserific.com.